Hello, I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. I am Ryan Oblander. I'll be the instructor for the lab portion, and my class will sort of go along with Lonnie Schrag's lecture portion. So since we've got this whole interesting situation going out there with the COVID-19, obviously this class would be more ideal in a lab setting, and we're going to have to transition that to online. So we're going to facilitate this class by using online software. Before I get there, so I'm Ryan. I live in Billings, Montana. I'm a chiropractor here in town, Oblander Chiropractics, where I hang out at. And then I teach part-time, usually just on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then one class through the summer. It's just something I enjoy doing, and I've stuck with it even as I've gotten busy in practice because it's just fun. I get to meet a lot of new people, and I get to stay familiar with anatomy and physiology, and I really enjoy it. More about me, I love the outdoors, so camping, dirt biking, snowboarding, things like that. Those are my passions. You know, I love watching baseball, love watching hockey, just a little bit about me. So this is the software we're going to use. It's called Visible Body Courseware. Now, with that $49.99 that is required, you will get 4 different applications. So I'm going to go here to the 4 different applications that you would get. Let's see here. I'm going to try to think how to get to those. We're just going to go into yours. So you're the BIOH 202 100. 100 is the section. We only have one section this summer. And so you're the 2020 summer section here. Now, there will be 4 apps, and I'm trying to think where those would be. I forgot to, maybe it's right here. Getting started. I think this will have the information. There we go. So this is 12 pages, and when we look through here, this is going to go over basically everything that I would go over with you. I'd highly encourage you to look at this. There's a quiz. If you take the Getting Started quiz, it is worth 1 point, so that will give you some points towards your grade. There are mobile apps. The 4 mobile apps, they are downloadable on any mobile device, but they're only downloadable on one mobile device. So whichever one you see yourself using as your mainstay, as your main source of doing this material, then download it on that. If that's your cell phone, great. If that's your tablet, great. As far as computers go, all of this is accessible on web browsers. However, when you go to take the quizzes or the final, that portion of the software is only available on a computer. Now that can be a Microsoft computer or an Apple computer. As far as I know, it can even be a Chromebook. I would check that out though as you're doing the practice quizzes and even the graded quizzes, because all of the graded quizzes will have multiple attempts. So get that sorted out, but it won't work on a tablet. It won't work on a mobile device to take a quiz. So you'll want to be on either a PC, a Mac, or something similar. When we get into this, you will have this to reference back to. This is what I'm going to go over on this video. There's the 4 apps that we can download. Those are available whether you're on Android or Apple, again, just on one device. So this will be your reference. Come back here and this will be your way to get familiar. This will be your main visual, your home base, so to speak. When you come in here, yours will say something like welcome, whatever your name is, and you'll likely only have the one list here, the one class here in the list, the BIOH 202 100-Summer 2020. When you click on that, you'll notice the left-hand column changes, and I'm going to expand that so that we have names associated with those logos. So you can collapse that if you're trying to increase the amount of visible space there. For today, we're going to leave that open. My courses, again, that's where this course will be found, likely just one for you. I really like this assignments tab, which is the default, and that's going to show you everything we're going to go over this semester. Now, on the right-hand side of each of these folders, you will see that there are, oh, that's going to be, for me, I mean when we're in here. In the right-hand side of each of these lines, there are dates. Now, it doesn't include the times, but there are specific times that these are open and due also. So this Getting Started quiz starts May 11th, and it runs through May 18th. Now everything opens at 5 a.m. and this is Mountain Standard Time. Everything closes at 11:59 p.m., also Mountain Standard Time. Our grade is composed of mostly graded quizzes. This one is just a getting started quiz. That quiz is worth 1 point. I'm going to close that folder. With that quiz is always, before I close that folder, there's this getting started with visible body. You click on that and that will open that file. That is that file that I already showed you. I'll hit the back button and that would be your reference on how to get through here. I'll close the getting started folder. I'm going to open the study of anatomy and physiology. You'll notice this is also open from May 11th through May 18th. So on May 11th, that would open at 5 a.m. On the 18th, it will close at 11:59 p.m. In here, we have the prefixes and suffixes virtual body ebook. We have the planes and positions virtual body ebook. And then we have a guide to anatomical terminology. This is essentially what you're responsible for this week. This first week is more of a getting to know the software, becoming familiar, getting your feet wet, making sure everything's in line. I haven't mentioned this yet, but I'm not requiring a textbook this semester. With us being 100% online and with everything we're doing being based out of this software, the lab activities that we would typically do out of the lab book, they just don't apply. So I'm trying to save y'all some money. $50 is all you're going to have to pay. That $50 will cover all of the material we're going to do, and then those 4 downloadable apps, you get those for life. So I think that's a huge value. And then the textbook you don't have to worry about. So in here, what's points for this week? We already discussed the getting started quiz, 1 point. Then we've got this anatomical scavenger hunt. So then you'll come in here and you will click on that anatomical scavenger hunt. And this is created by a different professor, but they've politely shared it with Visible Body. And this is your assignment. There are 37, I think, 47 questions in here. And so you'll go through 42 questions. You'll go through and answer this. You can do it digitally. So if you have an iPad or some way to type over the top of this or handwrite over the top of this, you can email that to me at droblander@gmail.com, all spelled out. My email is found within the Visible Body courseware, so you'll go to instructor there. This assignment is worth 5 points. So there's your 5 points, which means this week we get a total of 6 points. So this is the only week that you'll need to email me. In the future, everything will digitally go right into the gradebook. You're only responsible for the graded quizzes. So graded quizzes are your points. Each graded quiz is worth 2 points. So if I click graded quiz here in cytology, there are 2 there, meaning that my cell structure and function dissection quiz is worth 2 points. My cells multiple choice quiz is worth 2 points. Every single one will be that way. Some will, like this cytology, will only have 2 quizzes. Next week, we get into histology. Histology, if you'll notice, there's only 1 quiz, so we get 2 points for that quiz. There's other ones where, let's go to skeletal. I think skeletal's pretty heavy. So if we go to skeletal and we go to graded quizzes, there are 6 graded quizzes. So there's 12 points available that week. So every single quiz is just flat grade at 2 points apiece. They're all equal in their weight. My class is not weighted, so it is out of 250 points straight across the board. However many points you get out of 250 is how many points you will have towards your grade. My midterm is worth 100 points, my final is worth 100 points, and then all of these assignments will add up to 50 points, giving you that cumulative total of 250. Let's go over this left-hand column a little bit more. So we've gone through the assignments area. Now we're going to wander down to the calendar portion. This might be the most important thing you will do for keeping track of your things. If we go to the calendar portion, we get every single assignment and what is due. So you can see today is the 12th. There's nothing due there. There's nothing due, in fact, until the 18th. We can click on that and it will tell us exactly what's due, along with the other ones. Now again, all of this is a package of material, of course, but only that Getting Started quiz will net you points. And only the scavenger hunt will net you points. The other ones are what I would call supplemental. Those are going to help you get those points. When we go to the 25th, we've got a graded quiz and we've got 4 other things. So that graded quiz, that's the moneymaker. That's where those 2 points are going to come in for each of those quizzes. And then you've got some other things. The modules are probably the best thing to go through of all of this. The lab activities, the cell structure and function, as well as the cell life cycle, those are not required. Those are going to be things that you can do supplemental. There will be 1 or 2 that I pick out throughout the semester that I will try to work in. I'm fairly new to this software. Just like you guys, I'm about 3 months ahead of you. So I'm still trying to figure out what's good, what's not as good, what's valuable to you guys, and what's a waste of time. So far I've had really good feedback on the quizzes. I've had really good feedback on the exams. People have learned a ton from using this material. They really enjoy the 3D models, and they enjoy the approach that this takes to the material. So you'll go through here, and this will have May. Up here at the top, you've got the left arrow and the right arrow. There's June. So everything is there. You'll see that after integumentary is due on the 8th, we have 2 weeks, because that skeletal system, those 6 quizzes and all the material that goes with it, quite extensive. So we have 2 weeks to go over that material. So you'll have all the way until the 22nd. Then we take that midterm on the we take that midterm starting that day. And so that midterm opens up on the 22nd, and we have until 8 p.m. on the 24th to turn in or submit your midterm. The same thing will be true when we get to the final. You'll have roughly 2 days to do that. So you know, depending on your schedule, you can log in the middle of the night, middle of the day. You can log in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, doesn't matter. But there will not be extensions, so don't wait until the last minute. Get it done early. Don't be the one that's stuck at 15 minutes before the exam's due because you forgot that it was, I don't know, Mountain Standard Time, or you forgot it was Tuesday, whatever. So put reminders in your phone. Follow this calendar. This is going to be the way that you make sure you do well in this class. We're going to open this back up. Wrong button there. We're going to open this back up. We have course resources. In here, there's not a whole lot. We've had a few people that have had trouble opening some of these documents already, whether it's the ebook for prefixes and suffixes or the planes and positions. So I just went ahead and uploaded those PDFs and those Word documents for the scavenger hunt, as well as the syllabus. The syllabus can also be found in D2L. I'm trying to keep you guys not out of D2L, but I don't want you guys to have to bounce back and forth between multiple places. So for the most part, your grade will be represented in here. You'll go to Gradebook, and we're going to bounce right past that. So you'll go to Gradebook, and that will show you where you're at with yourself in the class. And then the very last thing you'll see here is announcements. And in here, I will post anything that I need to announce to the class. So here's the announcement I posted today, basically saying on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. we're going to do a Zoom meeting, but I've already received an email saying that that time doesn't work because of Lonnie's quizzes. So I'll find a new time and I'll modify this and send out a new alert. It's also going over all of the things, so it's talking about that we've already discussed. Your graded assignments this week include the scavenger hunt for 5 points and the getting started quiz for 1 point. Next week we'll do the psychology graded quizzes, which are 2 points each. So a lot of what I've already talked about. And then letting you know that each quiz is 2 points. There's 1 to 6 quizzes per week or per section. And I just kind of want you to be able to go here. Down at the very bottom, there's my email, drarblander@gmail.com. I keep this email separate from personal email, so only patients and students come into this email so that I can, try to respect your time and get back to you as quick as possible. And then right below that, that's my cell phone number. Again, that number is set aside just for students and patients. So text me, call me, But this semester it's pretty easy, but if you stick with me through next semester, I ask that people identify which class they're in. This semester, with only one class, I'm going to know, but otherwise I've got to dig through 5 or 6 classes and find your name, and by then I'm just frustrated and out of time. So if you stick with me, include time. And then down at the bottom, there's your apps. You can click there. This will give you a way to download these apps. So right here, it looks like you can download the apps, but keep scrolling and click share. And that will then allow you to share a link to yourself in an email. You can do that whether you have an iPhone or an Android device, as I mentioned. Now this very top one, the anatomy and physiology, that's the moneymaker. That is basically all of this courseware wrapped into a neat little bundle. These other 3, I would say, are supplemental. They're fantastic references. They're going to give you a way to learn things in a 3-dimensional way that is just unbelievable. So speaking of those apps, here is the first one. This is your home screen. You've got units, and I'm all the way up the top right under the search bar. You've got units. This semester we'll get through 1 through 23, so almost the first half. After units, we have checklists. So you can go in here, and as you're able to do these things, you can touch that dot and keep track of where you're at in your progress for that particular section. And it will tell you that you are 0 of 19 or 1 of 19 or 19 of 19, all that fun stuff. Next, we've got practice quizzes. So these are all quizzes. I've messed around with them just a little bit to see how they're doing. When you get things wrong, it's actually pretty nice. It allows you to see the right answer, so that's good. And they're just practice quizzes though. So these won't net you any points. So if you go into units, let's see, if we go into here, and I think at the end of section 2, there's a quiz. So if I go to translation right here, there's a neat video here. These, by the way, I'm not going to go through these slide by slide. I've done that in the past and folks just weren't watching the videos. So not valuable to you, not going to do it. So this will be all on your own. But when you go here, when you reach the end of this chapter and you hit take quiz, this quiz is not the graded quiz. This is the practice quiz. So some folks have been confused. They'll take this quiz, they'll go to the grade book, and they don't have a grade. And that's likely because they've done it within the app and not within the courseware. You've got to be in this screen and then go into My Course, pick your specific course, go to your assignments, go to your Getting Started quiz, and click on the lit up text right there. Again, this won't work because I'm on an iPad, but that's how you have to do that. If you take it on here, it's just the practice quiz. Now those practice quizzes are available in here. So if I go back, there will be practice quizzes. So that was cytology. We'll open cytology up. There's my practice quizzes right there. So I can still take them in here, or, so there's 2A, 2B, and 3A. If I go in here, I'm going to go back to menu, and we're going to go to translation, take quiz. This is quiz 2A, as you can see up there in the top red bar. So you'll go through each of these sections. This is all broken down on the syllabus. So if we go into the syllabus, here's your syllabus, and it's frozen. There we go. So this will be your syllabus. If you go to the very last page of this syllabus, you will see a very clear breakdown on what's going on. So under topics, this week, May 11th, we've got 2 topics: Getting Started with Visible Body Courseware and Apps, and the Study of Anatomy and Physiology. Then we see what's due or what's covered in Visible Body, the Getting Started portion, and the PDF on the scavenger hunt. One is worth 1 point, one is worth 5 points, and that will go on down through. So May 18th, the week of May 18th, we're going to go through Visible Body chapters 1 through 3. The week of May 25th, we'll do chapter 4. June 1st, chapter 5 through 6, and so on and so forth, with our lab midterm exam being available from June 22nd at 8 a.m. through June 24th at 8 p.m., showing you those points. And then the same thing for the final. I'll go all the way up to the top here. Again, there's my contact information, Dr. Ryan Oblander. You can email me at ryan.oblander@msubillings.edu or droblander@gmail.com. It seems like more, about 50-50 on that one. Again, just include your class period. Not important this semester, but it will be in the future. Shows you the dates that we run. So we started May 11th. We're going to run through August 7th. And here's more information. Feel free to read through this. It is posted both in D2L and in Visible Body. There's my grading policy. 90 to 100% is an A, 80 to 89B, 70 to 79C, 60 to 69D, 59 and below F. And then right here, specific instructional materials, reference and text lists. So this semester, your text from the lecture class will be considered the text for this class. We're not going to have an additional text required. We'll just use that $49.99, buy the Visible Body courseware access, and before you buy that, if you need or want, you will get 14 days of free access without any trouble. During that free access, keep in mind, you will not be able to download those apps. Those apps are not downloadable until the $49.99 fee has been paid for. So here's the app, very, very handy. You'll run through here. It's going to have, if it's got a box on, so protein synthesis there's a box. If you click on that, that means we are a three-dimensional piece. We can roll that around, we can pinch to zoom, all that fun stuff. When we touch on something, it will tell us what it is. We can drop that down. So this is a peroxisome. We can click on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the nucleolus, the nucleus. All of this is three-dimensional. All of it is pinch to zoom. You can rotate. And then everything here, you can even click on that little text book looking thing. So I'm just right above the image here. I can click on audio.
Nucleoplasm.
And it's going to talk through things. Or if I click that little textbook, like I said, it will give me a description. So the nucleus is a large organelle that contains the cell's genetic information, and so on and so forth. If you ever get in trouble with this little picture right here, this three-dimensional cell, and you just can't figure out how to get it back to neutral, that right-hand column has a refresh button. Tap that, takes you right back to the beginning. From there, you can do multi-select. You can select many things all at once. Again, if you get into trouble, hit refresh, takes it right back to default. Left-hand column, a little bit of information. This is more so what will be important for taking quizzes and whatnot. The information in the DNA in the nucleus is used to produce proteins. The assembly of the protein's amino acid chain occurs in the cytoplasm and is facilitated by ribosomes. So again, I'm not going to go through these one-on-one. Just want to show you the basic layout. As I click on DNA in chromosomes, it's going to show me a chromosome. As I click on nucleus in the left-hand column, it will illuminate the nucleus. If I click on cytoplasm, it's going to illuminate the fluid around. If I'm like, what the heck is cytoplasm? I click on the textbook picture, just one column over, and it will say that cytoplasm forms the inner contents of a cell. Back to the left-hand column, I can click on ribosomes, and you can see all those little tiny, the bubble-looking structures are now illuminated. And every single page will be the exact same way if it's a three-dimensional box. Then we also have slides. These slides will show you a good picture or a rundown of how things work. And the next one will likely be a video explaining
all cellular protein building and much of the cellular gene expression occurs through the two principal steps called...
Watch that on your own time. And then once we get through everything, at the very end of these, there will be a quiz. Again, if you're in the app itself, it's just a practice quiz. You've got to go to the courseware to take the actual graded quiz. All right, so that's all I've got today. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy to help. Here is everything I think you need. Everybody's loved this app so far. I've had people take this course first semester and then be introduced to this course the second semester with the app. They loved it. They did better. I've had people fail the class one semester. Then we introduced this app and they did extremely well the next semester. I think I had one gal go from an F to an A. So people are doing very well, especially the visual learners. That three-dimensional stuff is just amazing. To have the text right there with the 3D, I just hope you love it. Call me, text me, email me anytime. Sundays, I'll be slow to respond. I reserve that time for my family, but otherwise I'll try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Have a great day. We'll see you around this semester.